Welcome to Fantasy Kingdom. I'm your host, Mikey. That is Howie. Welcome to week 6.
Welcome.
How did last week go for you?
Pretty good. I got my first win in fantasy.
Woo! Got
That's a
one.
biggie. Yeah.
Only took 5 weeks, but you
beat
got
your
one.
Beat your dad. So now we're both
Okay.
in dead last. The two
Hey,
old
that
guys.
works.
Well,
You only need one to get the train rolling.
my team is starting to heal. My fantasy team, and it's looking better. I mean, a lot of my guys this week are picked to do well. So
Okay.
we'll see.
You also get the return of Gibbs, which is nice.
Well, Gibbs is coming back. In a week or two, we'll probably get Tua back. Chubb's working his way back. Josh is finally looking better. Dell is doing good. Kraft came unglued last week. That's a good thing.
That was a fantastic late week pickup for you.
Late week, heck, I got him that day, and then I picked up Denver like 15 minutes before the game. And boom, when
big hits.
Denver and Kraft went off at the same time.
See, that's what you did last year that won you a championship.
Oh, that's what.
But we already have a question in the chat. Dell or Chase Brown, half-point PPR.
Okay, Chase is healthy. He's going to play, but he's got a bit of a thigh issue.
And he's sharing time.
And he's sharing time with Zach Moss. And Dell's got it almost to himself this week, except for him and Diggs.
Yep.
So he probably. Let's see. Cincinnati.
I'd probably go Dell. The thing that makes Chase so attractive is he gets the goal line carries.
Right. Giants have a pretty tough run defense.
Run defense, they do. So I would probably go Dell. Who is Houston playing?
Houston is playing New England.
Oh, that's not great either. You know what? I would probably go Dell because I have a feeling Christian Gonzalez is going to be matched up on Stephon Diggs this week. So I'm probably going Dell against the number 2 there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It really depends on also what your lineup looks like. If you want that high ceiling, the high ceiling will be Chase because he gets all the goal line touches. If you're just looking for the floor, you just want to get the standard points. I think Dell's a safer bet to get you, 10 to 15 this week. If you're looking for that 20 to 35, I think Brown is your best bet.
Yeah, but I don't think either one of them are going to do that. So.
I don't think either one of them are going to do that either. But I'm just saying, it depends on what your team is and what you're looking for. Ultimately, I think Dell is your safest play. So we have another one that's come in. It says, greetings. Need 2. Brian Thomas, Mahoney, DJ.
Deontay is questionable.
Deontay, and he did not look great last week.
Mooney's really coming on.
I'd probably go BTJ and Mooney.
Yeah.
Especially with DJ as a questionable this week, and the Dalton didn't look as great last week as he did the week before.
They even brought Bryce Young back in a little bit last week. So
okay. My lineup is Baker, Gibbs, Pollard, Chase, Marvin Harrison, Andrews. Just need to flex Dell or Brown.
Okay.
I'm probably going Dell due to the matchup. He's 3-2 right now. I'd probably go Dell due to the matchup.
Yeah.
But go with your gut. If your gut's telling you go Brown, I tell everybody, we can give you all the advice in the world. Nothing's better than your gut.
And keep your eye on that because that Cincinnati game is the late game on Sunday. If his leg is sore, you'll know. But you might.
Well, you can't keep
do a lot about it. Well,
if it's the late game, you got to go with.
Well, at least if you've got him in the flex position, you still might be able to cover him with somebody off the waiver wire from Monday night.
Yeah, and there's plenty of Bills receivers that you can go grab. Not that you want any of them. You can go grab. You might, depending on what happens with Cook, you might be able to get Ty Johnson or Ray Davis
Yep.
as a late flex.
Just in
It's
case.
looking like
Since you're
Cook's gonna
going to
play.
flex anyway, you always want to flex the guy you're worried about.
Yeah.
Because if you put him in a position, you might lose that position.
Oh, it's a toss up in your mind too. Yeah, I would. Me personally, if it was my team, I'm probably going Dell. They're starting to pump him up. Nico's out. Steph's gonna get Gonzalez. I have a feeling Dell's is gonna be the main guy this week. Dell and Schultz are probably gonna be the two guys who get just a ton of targets this week.
Yeah.
So let's jump into it. We'll go with the injury notes. You want to run through the injuries?
Oh, it's an awful lot, and don't forget that it's bye week too. So
yeah,
this doesn't even, this list.
So
doesn't
the
even
people on the buys, is KC, Rams, Miami, and Minnesota. So there's a lot of firepower.
A lot of good receivers out there and running backs that you're missing. Along with those guys, Neighbors is out, Taylor's out, Carr is out. I guess Mixon's coming back from what I understand.
Mixon's in line to play this week.
AR is a game time decision. Ingram is questionable. That hamstring just keeps hanging on.
Going back to AR, are we talking about Aaron Rodgers?
No, we're talking about Richardson.
Yeah, man,
Aaron Rodgers has been demoted to little AR now.
Little AR now. Okay.
Yeah,
that after what Flacco has done the last 2 weeks, I'm not sure you want to bring him back.
Oh, I know. Early. I love Flacco.
Flacco has looked so good the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure you want to bring him back early. But anyways, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay, Ingram from Jacksonville. He's still questionable there. Brian Robinson, he may not play. He's questionable. Zay Jones from Baltimore, he's out. Luke Musgrave, tight end at Green Bay, is out. But Kraft is doing really well in his place. Watson is questionable. He might be back in. Ramondre Stevenson for New England is out. Rashad White is doubtful. Taysom Hill is out. Chubb is out. Devontae is out. Michael Myers is questionable, so that boosts Bowers.
Yep.
Deontay is questionable. Dallas's defense is just banged up. Parsons
it doesn't look like no Parsons and like two or three other guys on that defense.
Deron Bland and other guys. Like I mentioned, Chase Brown's questionable. Singletary's questionable. Cook is questionable. Secure is questionable.
So, and both of them look like they're gonna play because they have that extra day because they play Monday night.
Right.
It's hard to count on something like that though. But I saw a video of them at practice today, and they both look like they were bouncing around pretty good. We do have a question here: Bucks or Chargers defense? I'm going the Bucks defense as they're playing a rookie and Spencer Rattler at quarterback for the Saints this week.
Yeah, I would. If it wasn't this week, with the quarterback situation, probably would have stayed with Denver. But yes, although in a really good position because what's going to happen is the New Orleans he's going to hand off a million times. But without Taysom Hill, Kareem's going to get tired.
Yeah. Here's a great question. Should I drop Quentin Johnson for Cade Otton and start him over Andrews? No. Cade Otton has been a giant bust so far this year. He's dropped more passes than I think I've seen anybody drop. Like him and Baker just don't seem to be on the same page at all. If you're looking for a tight end, do you have tight ends in your thing that you're looking at, Howie?
I don't have any deep tight ends right now.
We'll take a look and see if we can find you one. Yeah, we'll look and see if we can find you a tight end today that you can grab. I would still go Andrews, and I'd play Andrews because at any point he can break out. He's not going to have a season full of what's been going on.
Yep.
He's gonna break out.
I don't know. Conklin might be someone you might want to look at.
Conklin's looked good. Let's just look at tight ends real quick. I'm thinking of Likely. I don't know if he's available, but he's been the one that you want in Baltimore. Noah Fant. He's not. He's only picked up in about 30% of the leagues. Noah Fant's been seeing more and more targets. I mean, he played this week already, but for next week, Chig.
Yeah,
Okonkwo.
Conquo, he's always good.
Yep. Theo Johnson for the Giants is someone to keep an eye on. You know,
Komet.
Jatavian Sanders with Trimble getting the concussion last week.
That's right.
Jatavian Sanders you may see a tick up in his play. So just a few ideas. I'm not sure I'm going Cade Otton. I mean, I love Cade and I love his game, but him and Baker just don't seem to be on the same page this year at all. Bad idea to have a QB and a kicker stack. I have Mahomes and can add Butker. No, I absolutely would take Butker. You know, if you can get Butker, I would take him in a heartbeat. He's one of the best kickers in football, and they're always, Mahomes will always get him in field goal range.
And they've been having trouble in the red zone this year. So,
I don't think it's a bad idea to have a QB kicker stack at all. Shaheed or BTJ? I'm going BTJ because Shaheed's now playing with Rattler. If Carr was there, Carr throws to Shaheed a ton.
Oh, he loves Shaheed on the long ball.
I don't know what Rattler's going to look like. Until we see it, I would go with the safe play of BTJ. And what's going on, Tommy? I'm in a 14-teamer, and it's scarce, man. Did any of those guys that we talked about show up? He says guys are available: Otton, Henry, Jawan, Chig, Theos, Sanders, Knox. I would probably, you know who you might want to go with? Hunter Henry. They're now starting the rookie, and you know who the rookie's favorite target is? Is a tight end.
And that's New England, right?
Yep.
And Stevenson's out.
Yeah.
So he might get a little extra love this week. I
would go Henry over Otton. I love Sanders, but I don't know what that team looks like in Carolina. It's hard to pick anybody that's there. So I would probably go Henry over Sanders. I love Fant, but he's already played this week, which doesn't help you.
Yeah.
I like Henry over Jawan, Chig, and Theo. So I would probably go Henry. What about you? All these guys,
I like Henry.
I love Knox's game. They just don't use him.
Yeah. Yes, I like Henry as a streaming option this week, and hang on to him because man, it's thin out there with tight ends, and then in your league with 14 people, holy crap!
Yeah, Henry's not a bad one to grab. So drop Q for Henry. I would drop Q for Henry.
Yeah.
If you have other receivers and you need a backup tight end, and I would use Henry as the backup. I would still start Andrews over any of those guys, but having a more reliable backup, because if May and Henry get that connection, that's gonna help propel you throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, good idea.
So the guy who was talking about the kicker says I have McPherson now, so I can drop him after this week. I would, and if you can pick up Butker after this week, his bye's done, and just run Butker the rest of the year. Have one kicker.
Yeah, that's definitely one spot you don't have to worry about.
Butker's a top 3 kicker. I would. Would you pick up Njoku, Otton, Likely, or Henry with Ferguson on a bye next week? I'd probably either go Njoku or Likely. Wait and see what Henry does this week with Drake May. If Drake May finds him a bunch, Henry could be a sleeper this week. He's someone I've kept my eye on. I love Otton's game. I just like I was saying earlier, him and Mayfield just don't seem to connect a whole lot. Njoku came back, but he did not look like himself last week, coming off that injury. So Njoku's probably the highest ceiling of the bunch, and Likely is one of those matchup specific guys because he'll get you 25 one week and then get you 3 the next.
See what these guys do this week and be ready to jump on that button in case one of them excels.
If Henry and May connect, be ready to jump on that button tomorrow to snag Henry. I have a feeling he could be sneakily good if Drake May targets him. Yeah. Problem is Brissett has never used this tight end.
Yeah, because right now any tight end shines, it's gonna be a sweepstakes.
Yep.
That's like last week. I'm sure Kraft went really quick. I actually picked him up right before the game.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's a good pickup.
It was a lucky pick.
That was a good pickup.
Well,
All right, so
and Ingram decided to crap out right before the game last week.
yeah, and he's still questionable this week.
I woke up and went, "Oh no! I thought my
and man,
my
did you hit a
with.
home run with that pickup?
Oh,
he led all tight ends.
Yeah, I did. I had a stack there. I had him, Josh, and Reed, and they all got me points.
Yeah,
because they didn't bounce off against each other. You know, they all stayed in their lane.
mm-hmm.
You know, and it worked out great. You know, so
yeah.
I'm going with them again this week.
All right, let's go studs and duds. QBs for the studs: Burrow, Cousins, and Lamar. With honorable mentions of Flacco. Man, that guy, old man Flacco, still doing it. Mayfield and Caleb. Running back. You know who led all running backs last week?
Was it Eckler?
Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby. Okay.
So we were talking about him.
He was. They were talking big time. He was the big subject last week. You know, should I get him? Should I get him? Well, we didn't know what ETN was going to do, and ETN played.
Well, kind of.
I mean, he was there. It wasn't like he was out.
Bigsby's breaking off big ones.
Bigsby just supplanting him.
The crazy part is they're talking about ETN being on the trade block.
Yeah.
And them going with Bigsby for the rest of the year. You know, so if someone's looking for a running back and needs one, it's someone they might want to just stash if they have the room. So it's Bigsby, Swift, and Rico Dowdle. Talk about who had those three as your leading rushers going into this year. Then Stevenson, Hunt, and Trace Sermon.
Wow.
That was last week's top running backs. Crazy, right?
How the mighty have fallen.
Right? Wide receivers.
If you picked in the first round this year, you're not happy. You're really not. You got an early pick.
I love my first round pick this year.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, if you look at our draft, it's decimated.
Yeah.
You know?
My guy was on a bye last week, my first round pick, and it's Saquon. Saquon's been wonderful for me so far this year. You know.
It's funny how, as good as he's been, the Eagles have been kind of
I know, but he gets his numbers every week. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, we had Chase, London, and Mooney, with honorable mention of Higgins, Wilson, and DJ Moore. You know, it was nice to see a Higgins sighting. Welcome back, T. Higgins, and Mooney is starting to pick it up in Atlanta.
Yeah, he looks good.
Cousins is starting to look better though, coming off the rusty after his Achilles.
I think they're all kind of starting to gel a little bit there. You know, I think Bijan's coming back healthy today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if they can put all the pieces together, you know, that's an easily winnable division.
We'll see.
You know,
I mean, they play it down to the last second all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, from the tight ends, Kraft led all tight ends, and then it was Bowers and Kittle with honorable mentions for Likely. Travis Kelce made the list for the first time this year, and Kyle Pitts. Our duds. The only dud quarterback last week that really dudded out was Sam Darnold. You know, everyone else had like above 17 points. That is owned in like 75% of the leagues.
Yeah.
Dishonorable mentions, guys who barely made that 17-point mark, are Mahomes, Allen, and Purdy.
Yeah, but they had that is so deceptive because they all did well. You know, Purdy didn't do well last week, but I mean, you get when your team is hitting on all cylinders. That YOLO guy is always going to have lesser stats because they're doing it right, you know.
Yeah. Except last week, Josh Allen was 9 for 30, and he still got you 17 points.
He got hit in the head a good smack last week too.
He got hit in the head a few times last couple weeks.
They had him in concussion protocol during the week. He's been off it a couple of days, but for a day,
he was cleared the Monday.
Yeah, they were looking at him though. There's like
they were investigating did he even go through concussion protocol during that game because he came back so quick.
Yeah,
They was cleared of that wrongdoing.
That's funny because how Rodgers had done the same thing earlier that weekend. Got hurt. The penalty changed it. Came out, back from the tent. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And it almost looked like Josh was like, "I can do it. I'm gonna limp back onto the field to make a difference." And
He tried.
He tried, but
He tried. He didn't have any help. That's for damn sure. Then we'll go to the running backs. Achane, Jones, and Hall. Achane and Jones both had injuries. Breece Hall just had a bad game, to where they were giving Braylon Allen the carries over Breece Hall. Dishonorable mentions that week was Irving, Ford, and Moss. Although Bucky will probably see an uptick if White's out.
Yeah, I think he's going to see an uptake anyway with him being doubtful. It's just that they still use White in the receiving department an awful lot.
Yep, but if he's hurt,
you can't really,
you're going to see Bucky getting the majority of the carries. So
either that, or they're going to go out to Evans and Godwin a little bit more.
We'll see. Wide receivers, we had Debo, Olave, and Harrison Jr. with Sutton, Pickens, and Deontay Johnson as the dishonorable mentions this week. Those are some names that just crap that. Debo and Olave had like 3 points apiece.
Yeah, I had Olave going on Monday night. Thank goodness I had the win sewed up by then because it was. Woo-hoo.
And then for the tight ends, it was Njoku, Kincaid, and Schultz that just did not show up. And Kincaid seems to be popping up on this list a lot, which is really disappointing for me as a Bills fan and a Kincaid owner. Yeah. So, something to think about as we were talking about the injuries and the buys. Next week's Thursday night matchup is Denver at New Orleans. Make sure you get your plays in, your streamers in, and all those things, because you don't want to miss out on getting your pickups that you need for that game. All right, we'll hop into the matchup previews. Do you have a game that excites you this week?
Well, I know it sounds homer, but Baltimore Washington
that's gonna be a good game.
I hope so. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh wow, you must be really happy about the Redskins this year and stuff." But if you look at the teams they beat, you take all 4 of those teams. Each one of them are 1-4.
You play the teams that are put in front of you.
Well, yeah, I got it. So this is a big respect week. I mean, if we can play them tight, I'll be happy. If we can win, I'll be very happy. But it's a tough one. It's this.
So from a fantasy perspective, I will tell you, Jaden Daniels, your rookie quarterback, has made McLaurin and your tight end Ertz and your running backs all legit fantasy players again this year. It's been a while since, everyone's been waiting for McLaurin's breakout, but he's just never had the quarterback to do it.
He never had anybody that he really matched up with,
And Jalen uses him to his advantage. That deep ball is pretty.
And he uses everybody. That's what's great. And since he's got Eckler that can catch the ball, and he's got Ertz, with just mad skills, it's a nice season.
Is it fun to be a Washington fan right now?
It is. It really is. And yes, Tommy, I got to eat a pepper this week. Tyreek let me down.
That's what happens when you pick a Dolphin. They let you down.
Yeah.
Voting
last week I actually won, so I didn't have to eat a pepper.
Yep. But he will this week.
This week I got to eat a pepper.
Another good one that I'm looking forward to is Detroit at Dallas. Now, Dallas's defense being banged up is a little disappointing. I was really looking forward to that one.
Yeah. But Detroit's gonna let them score a lot of points.
Yeah.
It could still be a shootout, They just, Dallas isn't going to run against them. They don't have a running game anyway.
Don't discount Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I feel sorry for everyone who has to watch Monday night's game. What Bills team and what Jets team shows up?
Jeez,
Like both of these offenses have been putrid the last couple weeks.
I hope it's a downpour too.
Of course
Just
you do.
just a mud bowl downpour. Got to keep wiping the lens off so that you can watch the game. Slobber knocker.
Well, it won't be too bad because it's on it's on turf.
Okay,
It's on the turf. They don't have like an actual, grass stadium where it get all muddy
that's too
and
bad.
gross. That is too bad. That is too bad. But so it'll be interesting. Well, what teams show up here?
Yeah,
Do the Jets get that interim, head coach bump? They also have a new OC.
that's true.
Or with the return of Khalil Shakir, if he returns, does Josh go back and look more like what he did the weeks 1 through 3, or is it more of what we've seen the last 2 weeks? Like, I don't know what Bills team you're getting.
Yeah, it's almost like they're. I mean, if the Bills don't win, that division is just like on pause or something. It's like, oh, we'll wait for two to come back so we can really do some shit talking.
Well, if the Bills don't win, everyone, the Jets and the Bills will both be 3-3, and Jets will hold the tiebreaker and be in first place.
It's sort of like the NFC West. I mean, the Niners are in first place, but they're 3-3.
Are they really? Oh my God!
Yeah,
as bad as they've looked, they're still in first.
As terrible as that division is, yeah.
That's
mean,
crazy.
it's a topsy-turvy league this year.
Mm-hmm.
You got teams that normally you'd say, what? Washington's in first place? Are you kidding
I like
me?
this one.
Keenan
Yep.
or Leggett?
Yeah,
I like
one of those.
Myself, especially with you don't know who's going to quarterback for Carolina. Absolutely. Neither one of them are hurt, but neither one, they don't seem to have faith in either one of them. So, and Keenan, I think Keenan's set for a good week.
You go Keenan over Leggett?
Mm-hmm.
I like Leggett long term in a keeper or a dynasty. I would go Leggett over Keenan. Here, like a week to week thing, I'm going Keenan. Because Keenan, who are they playing? The Bears are playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville does not have a great pass defense at all. Yikes. And Carolina has Atlanta. Yeah, I'm going Keenan over Leggett this week. I'm going Keenan over Leggett. All right, so let's jump into some lovely sit starts. I'm going to start. Would you start Josh Allen or would you start Baker Mayfield this week? Josh Allen at the Jets, Baker Mayfield at New Orleans.
Boy.
The fact that we even have to think about this is crazy.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about good quarterbacks against good defenses. I'm going to go, God, I got to do it. Baker.
I'm going Josh.
I knew you would, but I mean, I gave you the chance to jump out there and say Baker, but I knew you wouldn't. So.
I wouldn't. Would you go Josh or would you go Stroud? Stroud's got New England.
I would go Stroud. I mean, and we're talking just fantasy points here.
Yeah.
Josh may well captain his team to a nice win, but lately the way they're playing the way they should be playing, which means Josh isn't getting the fantasy points. That's why I'm going against. I'm not picking against him because I don't like him. I'm picking against him because it's fantasy.
Okay. Long term, not this year. If Eric Mold's in his prime, Stephon Diggs in his prime, would you be going Eric Moulds or Stephon Diggs?
I don't care.
It'd be Eric Moulds.
That's an old Buffalo, question.
Eric Moulds was a monster in fantasy those years.
Yeah.
He was a monster. Like the teams weren't good, but he was a monster in fantasy. All right. Let's go with, would you go Trevor Lawrence or would you go Aaron Rodgers?
The fact that I got to think about it, I'm going to go with Rodgers.
Okay.
Yeah, because Chicago's defense is pretty darn good, and you just don't know. Like you said, you don't know what you're going to get with Buffalo.
You don't. You don't at all.
You don't. You don't. Sorry to.
So would you go Caleb
Yeah.
Williams or would you go Kirk Cousins?
Okay.
Caleb versus Jacksonville,
Carolina.
Kirk versus Carolina.
I'm gonna go with Kirk. They seem to have gelled nicely. If their running game would take off, holy shit, they'd be tough.
Would you take Jaden or would you take Lamar?
I'm taking Jaden this week.
And I'm taking Lamar.
I'm going full on Homer. I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win, but they're going to throw up some stats.
That's going to be our X factor this week.
Yeah.
Jaden versus Lamar. I get Lamar. You get Jaden.
Yeah.
All right. From a running back perspective, would you go with Chuba, or would you go with Rico Dowdle? Dowdle versus Detroit.
Yeah.
Chuba versus Atlanta.
I'm going to go with Chuba. Dowdle's going up against a tough run defense. Yeah.
Okay. You going Tony Pollard or you're going J.K. Dobbins?
Boy. Tennessee.
Tommy, Mark Rippett, or RG3? Neither. Pass.
I'll go with Pollard because Indy's run defense is not very good.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. You going Breece Hall or you going Josh Jacobs?
I'm going with Josh Jacobs this week.
Okay.
Breece is in show me phase right now.
You going Jerome Ford or you going Antonio Gibson?
I would go with Ford.
Ford against Philly's run defense?
Well, Gibson, let's see.
Gibson's versus Houston. Also doesn't have Stevenson there, so he's going to get all the carries.
No, I'm still going to go.
Ford?
I'm still going to go with Ford.
Okay. Would you go?
I'm hoping that they're building their team for when Chubb comes back.
All right. Here's a battle of backups: Tyrone Tracy or Trey Sermon.
Tyrone Tracy or Trey Sermon. I like that Tyrone Tracy kid. See, the Giants are playing. Since yeah. I'm gonna go with Tyrone Tracy.
Hello, Mr. Fulton. Tommy does not. He's not on the Fantasy Kingdom show. This is a fantasy football show that Howie and I do. Tommy isn't on this show. Okay, let's move on to. So you went with Tracy, right?
Yeah.
You went with the Giants run game. That's scary to think about. You going Jaden Reed or you going Drake London?
Reed.
Explain.
Well, with Love back and they got the running game going, the only thing I worry about is Watson might be back. I mean, the whole gang is back except for Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs is back.
Oh, Dobbs is back too?
Yep. Dobbs is back.
Yeah. Who was the other one? London?
Drake London or Jaden Reed?
London will probably outpoint him, but Reed's got big strike capabilities. I mean, Reed will get some good long passes, possibly with touchdowns. But I think London will get the volume.
Stephon Diggs or AJ Brown?
AJ's back, huh? against Cleveland. Okay. Stefan's playing New England, and he's probably going to have Christian on him. I'm going to go with AJ.
Go AJ over Stefan. I like it.
He's rested.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. You going Deontay or T. Higgins?
Well, Deontay's
or Mike Evans.
Questionable.
It's a 3.
Okay. Mike Evans, Deontay, or who?
T. Higgins. Questionable is Deontay, so if you want, you can take him out of the equation.
Right. Oh, I already have.
It's Mike versus T, really.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Higgins. I think they got to win.
Mm-hmm.
And Burrows is chucking the ball. Yeah, I'm going to go with Higgins.
Okay. I like that. Brian Thomas Jr. or Chris Olave?
Brian Thomas Jr. I own Olave, but he's going with the backup quarterback this week. And Tampa's got a tough defense.
Here's one for you. Jameson Williams or Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has more receiving yards this week?
Boy, when I had St. Brown, I started worrying about Jameson because he's starting to come on a little bit. More yards, I'm going to go with Jameson. I think St. Brown will get more catches.
So you think St. Brown gets the higher fantasy points? You think Jamo's yards are going to outdo his?
I do. I think it will, and he'll get a lot of long passes, and then they'll give it to Gibbs at the goal line.
Okay. Gibbs at the goal line. Listen to you. Listen to you change over the weeks.
5 yard passes for touchdowns.
Listen to you change over the weeks. 2 weeks ago was, we'll get down the goal line and we'll throw it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now we're going to give it to Gibbs. Well, you know who they're really going to give it to?
I don't know him. They'll probably give it to Monty.
Yep. Montgomery.
Screw us both over.
Yep. That's funny. It's will you go Amari Cooper or George Pickens? Neither one of them have really lived up to anything this year.
Pitt's playing Las Vegas. Cleveland's in Philly. You know what? I'm going to go with Pitt. I'm going to go with
You going with Pickens?
Pickens. I'm going to go with him against Vegas' defense as opposed to Philly's defense. And Watson he's so hit and miss, I like Cooper, but
all right. From a tight end standpoint, you're gonna go Brock Bowers or Tucker Kraft.
I knew you were gonna say that. Bowers is the clear
Bowers
number.
Now has Aiden O'Connell.
He's the clear number one between the two. Kraft might have been a flash in the pan, but he's done it 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna go with Kraft.
Oh, okay.
And Bowers is ranked higher.
Okay, I like it. You gonna go Schultz or Goddard? Schultz in New England, Goddard against Cleveland.
I think I'll go with Schultz. I think he's got a little bit easier path there.
Andrews or Pitts?
Pitts. Can't trust Andrews right now.
Andrews or Ingram?
Shit. If you have a better option, play it. I don't think Andrews is hurt at all. Ingram is at best nursing a hamstring, so I got to go with Andrews.
All right. Ertz or Njoku? Ertz over Njoku?
Yes.
I need to see Njoku come back and do something.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's kind of it.
Maybe Njoku will shine when they get Chubb back,
Is Laporta back yet?
He's not out. He wasn't on the list.
Okay, so he must be back. You know, would you go McBride or Laporta?
Laporta.
Laporta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Phoenix is playing Green Bay. Yeah.
Here's a beautiful one for you to end on. Kincaid or Fryermuth?
Well, I hope Kincaid does better than Fryermuth. I'm playing against Fryermuth this week. Fryermuth was hurt earlier in the week, and
He's not on it. He's not on any injury
no,
report.
he was cleared today. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't see anything on him, but he was so. See, he still might be a little tender, and if Shakir's out and Jets are tough, I think Kincaid has a.
Shakir looks like he's gonna be back.
I still think. Well, that helps. That actually helps Kincaid.
It does.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kincaid.
All right, I like that. God, I hope you're right. I need him to do something finally. All right, so let's jump down into your Howie's Deep League Diggers. Who you got this week?
Well, I think I pulled a couple of them out. Now this is one of those ones that I love picking on guys where I can't pronounce their name.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to call him Khal Drogo. It's KhaDarel Hodge. He's wide receiver for Atlanta, and while London and Mooney are doing all their things, he's got a chance of slipping in there. Jalen Tolbert for Dallas, with who was it? I think Cooks was down, or yeah,
Brandon Cooks.
he's down. So that's someone to look at. And I know that you had said there's another guy in case Cook doesn't go, but I'm looking at Tyrone Trey. Wait, no, Ty Johnson.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Ray Davis. If you really want to go deep, keep an eye on it. Granted, this is a Monday night game, so you don't really want to wait on Monday night.
Right.
But if you're looking late Monday night, a sleeper that could be called up from the practice squad is Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah. And he's quietly been moving back up the ranks, but Eckler's looking really good lately too.
Also, someone that's starting to become more a focal point in Buffalo's offense is Keon Coleman. So keep an eye on him as we're moving forward. We got a question that says Pickens or Jalen Tolbert this week. Oh, I like that. The Cowboys.
I've been pushing Tolbert, and he's had a couple good games, so I'm going to go with Tolbert. Pickens has been in show me mode. They're against Las Vegas.
I'm going Pickens. I like Pickens' matchup better than I like Tolbert's matchup.
I like his matchup better, but they have yet to do anything. It's a weirdest thing.
Yeah, I'll go Pickens over Tolbert. I think Pickens will have more fantasy points than Tolbert will have. Okay. And other guys that you could be looking at, we talked about Braylon Allen, who seems to be getting more and more. Roschon Johnson is someone to keep an eye on. If something happens to Swift, Roschon is their goal line /
right
RB2.
Yeah. On the Niners, you get that Garendo kid in case Mason's out.
Yeah, Isaac Garendo. Yeah. I loved him coming out of college.
Yeah.
Jordan Whittingham is another one for the Rams when he returns. As long as Puka and Kupp are out, Jordan Whittingham is someone you should be looking at.
Yeah.
From Miami, Jalen Wright is someone with A-Chain hurt and Mostert and Wilson both getting up there in age. Wright might be getting more and more carries.
Yeah. And Chu's coming back. And once he comes back and that energizes the receiving end of the game, it's going to help their running game.
Yeah. No one talks about him, but Michael Wilson's a fantastic play too, who's opposite in Arizona, who's opposite of Marvin Harrison.
I was talking about him last week.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of targets. Yeah.
Should you bench Cook? Of course, it's a Monday game. It'd be too late to do anything. Here's what I do, Spin. I would keep Cook because it looks like he's gonna play. Based off of the videos that we saw today, him and Shakir both were bouncing around pretty good at practice, so it looks like they're gonna go. If he's gonna go, you're gonna want him in the lineup. If he's not, be ready to snag Ray Davis or Ty Johnson as a flex, to swap them. Whatever one you feel most comfortable with. Me personally, I like Ray Davis. Howie likes Ty Johnson. I think that's your best play. Although I think they're both going to go, and so I don't think you're going to have to worry about that.
I think if Cook's out, you guys are in a heap of trouble.
We're in a heap of trouble anyways with that defense. It's the best defense that we've seen yet.
That's
Josh always plays rough against the Jets. Although no Saleh, who led that defense. So Flacco or Levis for tomorrow's game. Ooh. Here's the thing. Flacco may not even be the starter.
Right.
So you may have to go Levis for the fact of Flacco may be replaced with Richardson.
Yeah, that's one you got to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
I like Flacco this year. I'm totally in his corner. He brings stability to the team. Richardson's exciting, but he's so inconsistent.
So your hot pepper challenge last week, Howie, we'll get to you eating the pepper. What was it?
It was
Tyreek.
Tyreek. He let me down. I was looking for 88 and a touchdown, and he got 70 something.
And no touchdown?
And no touch.
That's what happens when you pick a Dolphin. They just let you down.
Well,
so who will be your hot pepper challenge this week?
Austin Eckler.
You going Eckler?
I'm looking at 100 scrimmage yards and a touchdown.
Oh, you're on big too.
Well, I think he's going to catch some balls, and anytime he catches a ball, there's a good chance he can break one. So I'm going with total scrimmage.
Man, you're really putting a lot of faith in that game.
Hey, it's a big game. It's a huge game. I mean, like I said, if we win, I'm gonna start getting a little cocky. If not, I'm gonna just stay away. But like I said, if we can beat the Giants twice and we can get 9 wins, that'd be a decent season for us.
If you guys go into Baltimore and get the win, that's a huge win.
If we go into Baltimore and get the win, that's 5 wins. We're already halfway there on the Giants. And we've got the rest of the season to come up with 4 wins. I think we can do it. I mean, if we beat these guys, I'm gonna start talking playoffs.
In week 7, yikes! Okay,
I will. It'll be like
week 7. He's talking playoffs.
It'll be
you can always spot the team that hasn't been to the playoffs in a while.
I haven't been cocky about this team. I mean, really bug the crap out of you cocky since we beat Denver in the Super Bowl. You were just, what were you, 6, 7 years old?
Yeah. Something like that.
I wasn't even that cocky when we beat Buffalo. That was a long time ago. Super Bowl 26. That was the 30 Super Bowls ago. So
that was about the time I really became a football fan and really started to fall in love with Buffalo. And you're half the reason is you kept calling them the losers, the lovable losers.
Well, back then
that was Super Bowl number 2 for us that we lost.
It was weird how Buffalo did that, and lost those games. But back then they weren't alone. Look at the Vikings. The Vikings went to like 3 or 4 Super Bowls and lost them. Back in those days, it was Pittsburgh and Dallas. Really.
49ers.
49ers came along later, actually. And then, because the Redskins really never had a dynasty, they'd go a couple years, boom, new quarter. I mean, we won with 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Theismann, Rippon, and
Williams.
Yeah. I mean, really, Theismann was the only big name of the bunch.
Yeah.
And so, and then Miami had their time early. Green Bay had their time early, but back when I was growing up, it was big time Pittsburgh. Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach, That was some good time. Then Joe came along, Montana, and those guys, and we had him up here in Rockland at the training camp for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
That was really nice over there at the college.
Yeah. I remember that.
And we were a
All
small town.
Yep. We always called it the X Factor. We used to call it the non-QB X Factor. Now we're calling it the X Factor because this week we have two QBs. We have Lamar versus Daniels. Yep. I have Lamar. You have Jaden.
Yeah.
You're really digging in on your Washington team, brother.
I'm just getting rolling. Okay. I haven't got cocky with them yet, and now I'm starting to. Picking Daniels, picking Eckler. No,
Eckler getting 100 yards is especially against that defense. That defense is rough.
It's been a while, but hey, you got to, I could go with Eckler's going to get 50 and a couple catches. Well, that's just pussing out. Okay.
Howie's winning the poll right now, so I guess there's a poll on 60% with 5 votes so far that you're going to win the Hot Pepper Challenge next week.
Yeah, good. I like that. I don't know who's doing the voting, but way to go.
Tommy put a poll out.
That's probably Tommy over there with a pencil going, oh, there's one for Jeff. There's another one for Jeff.
You can play polls in YouTube. So
yeah.
All right. So cool. It's before you eat your pepper, any final thoughts before you eat your pepper and we wrap this thing up?
Okay, if you have any doubts about a guy on your team, like running back or wide receiver, and you're not sure he's going to start, put him in the flex position. Because if all of a sudden at the last minute he craps out, you can replace him with some, maybe a tight end or a different position. If you're stuck with him in that running back or wide receiver or tight end position, you might lose out. That's all I'm saying. It's just a little housekeeping thing, When in doubt, put them in the flex position because you can always bring somebody else in and not get froze out.
Spin wants to know, what if he has more than one spot?
Oh, that he's worried about?
Yeah.
Oh, join the club. Join the club. I usually start a team that has 3 or 4 question marks on it this year, and I have one of the best teams on paper, and my team's terrible. I mean, my record is, even in points, I can't. The first 3 weeks, I don't think I broke 100. And this is in a league where we routinely score in the 150s. Used to,
yeah.
Not this year.
No, scoring's down this year.
Scoring is way down.
Yeah,
unless you happen
to win with 120s this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm also thinking about it next week as we go in after Monday night's game. Think about it because we won't see you until next Saturday. The bye weeks next week are Chicago and Dallas, so plan accordingly. The Thursday night game next week is Denver and New Orleans, so make sure you plan that accordingly. My running backs, Stevenson out, Cook questionable, White doubtful, Singletary good to go.
I had Singletary as questionable, but okay.
If he was then I'm going Cook and Singletary.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of,
and you don't have a choice because White's not gonna play and Stevenson's already been ruled out.
I'd take a little walk along the waiver wire and see if there's anybody out there. I mean, who do you have for flex? I
think he has to start 2 running backs.
Yeah, I know he has to start 2 running backs, but what's he? Obviously he must be flexing a.
Those are his 4. I think those are his only 4 running backs. So he flexes tight end.
Yeah, I would take a good look at the waiver wire. I'd also go into your league and see if anybody's heavy on running backs and like light on wide receivers or whatever you might have a lot of. Warren, I don't think he's coming. I don't think he is coming back. But Mooney's your flex. You got to keep Mooney in there.
Yeah,
you got to do that.
Yeah,
Warren. I'd have to take another look, see if he's okay. But
if I had to drop somebody here to pick up Ray Davis or a Ty Johnson, it'll probably be White of the 4.
he's got the most problems ahead of him, especially with
Bucky.
Bucky right behind him.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, and you could probably drop weight and nobody's going to snag him. And if you got to go back and get him next week, you go pick him back up.
Yikes. Best player on the waiver is Colts Godson. Yikes. So is Ray Davis or Ty Johnson there?
Yeah.
So just in case Cook can't go? I mean, I think he's going to go.
Tyrone Tracy, in case Singletary's out.
But if they're not on his waiver
Yeah,
wire,
that's true. That's
you
true.
guys already have him. He's in a 14-man league. You know, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, you might be looking at Ray Davis or Ty Johnson if Cook doesn't go. But I think Cook's going to go. I think you're going to be fine. I think you go with Davis is there, most likely Johnson as well. All right. So if Cook doesn't go, drop White to get one of those guys to fill in. But I think Cook's going to go. So I think you're going to be okay with Singletary and Cook. All right, Howie. Let's do this pepper and get out of here.
It's got some heat.
Nice and red for you.
That's a warm one.
Is it a warm one? All right, folks. Howie and I will be back next week at same time. That's 11 Pacific to Eastern. Stick around as after this is the AFC Shakedown with Tommy and the AFC East folks. For Howie, I'm Mikey, and we are out of here.